Good morning, Great Oaks Legacy Charter School. We are now in week 8 of remote learning. For week 8 of remote learning, we are going to learn to tell time. Now, we're going to learn how to tell time to the hour and the half hour. So let's get started. This video over here is a brain pop video. I am going to put the link of this video down below in the description box. When I play this, the audio does not work, so make sure you click in the link down below at the description box. Now, we've seen clocks everywhere. We see clocks in the school, we see clocks on the wrist of people's arms, and we see clocks at home too. We know that clocks tells time. And when you look at a clock, there are 12 numbers on a clock. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 numbers on a clock, just like this. And there's 2 hands on a clock. There is a short hand and there is a long hand. So there's 2 types of clocks, a short hand and a long hand. Now, we're going to learn more about the numbers on the clock and the hands of a clock as we learn. So there are 2 types of clocks that we need to know. There is an analog clock that looks just like this. It's a round clock. We see this in our classroom and we see it on a watch that looks just like this. And there's something called a digital clock that looks like this. The digital clocks usually show the number and it has 2 dots just like this. And we've seen this clock before when we look at the classroom timer. Whenever we have a classroom timer, we see something like a digital clock. Now, these 2 clocks, they both tell time. Remember, this is an analog clock and this is a digital clock. Now, in the analog clock, you will see the short hand and you'll see a long hand. The short hand tells the hour and the long hand tells the minute. Now, for the shorthand, it usually shows the hour, and whenever the shorthand is on a number, that is the hour that it's telling us. So for this clock, the shorthand is on the number 10. So that means the hour is 10. The longhand, it is the minute. And the longhand, instead of saying 10, 12, we need to count the minutes by 5. So this is how we count it by 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and 60. So there's 60 minutes in 1 hour. But whenever the longhand is on the 12, we don't say it's 10:60. It doesn't make sense. So instead, when the long minute hand is on the 12, we say o'clock. And in digital form, we put 2 zeros for o'clock. So when we look at this clock, we say it's 10 o'clock, not 10:60. The hour hand is on the number 12. The long hand is on the the short hand is on the number 10. And the long hand is on the number 12. So we say it's 10 o'clock, not 10:12, not 10:60, 10 o'clock. Because whenever the long hand is on the 12, we say o'clock. And in digital form, this is how you write 10 o'clock. We write 10 for the hour. You put 2 dots just like this, and then you put 0, 0 for o'clock. So this is how we read time to the hour. Now, I told you that there's a shorthand and there's a longhand. There is a song that we could use to remember what the shorthand and the longhand means. So listen carefully to this song. It goes like this. The shorthand has the power to tell the hour. The longhand is in it to tell the minute. I'm going to sing it one more time. The shorthand has the power to tell the hour. The longhand is in it to tell the minute. So don't forget, the shorthand it has the power to tell the hour. So this shorthand is on the number 3, so the hour is 3. The longhand is in it to tell the minute. So the longhand is on 12. And remember, we don't say that the minute is 12. Whenever the longhand is on the number 12, we say it's o'clock. So this time shows us that it's 3 o'clock. So this clock is showing us 3 o'clock, just like this one over here. And in digital form, this is what it looks like. 3 for the hour, ... o'clock. The 2 zeros represents o'clock. So this is 3 o'clock. Now let's take a look at some of the examples. This is our first example. We have the shorthand over here and the longhand over here. Remember, the shorthand has the power to tell the hour. So this shorthand is on the number 9. So the hour is 9. The longhand is in it to tell the minute. So if the longhand is on the 12, remember, we don't say it's 12. Instead, when the longhand is on the number 12, we say o'clock. So it is 9 o'clock. Now we got to write that in digital form. In digital form, I only want to see the numbers. So the hour is 9. And then I have to put 2 dots over here. And then remember, whenever the longhand is on the number 12, when the minute hand is on the 12, we don't say it's 9:12 or 9:60. Instead, we say 9 o'clock with 2 zeros. Remember, the 2 zeros represents o'clock. So this is the digital form of 9 o'clock. And in word form, that means I only want to see words. So first, I have to spell out the number 9. To spell the 9, I have to write N-I-N-E. So it's 9 o'clock. O'clock is spelled O apostrophe C-L-O-C-K. This is 9 o'clock. Let's look at our second example. Ooh, this time we don't see an analog clock. We only see a digital clock. So when we read this digital clock, the first number is the hour. So I see the number 7. The 7 is the hour. We have 2 dots. When you see 2 zeros just like this, that means it is o'clock. So we have to say it's 7 o'clock. And when we write that in word form, we spell out the word 7. 7 is spelled S-E-V-E-N. So it's 7 o'clock. So these are the 2 examples that we got to see. Remember, whenever you see 2 zeros just like this, it means o'clock. And whenever the longhand, just like we saw here, whenever the longhand is on the 12, that means it's o'clock. So let's take a look at now telling time to the half hour. We just told time to the hour. Now we're going to tell time to the half hour. Now the half hour, it just means that we're cutting the time in half. So this is a video, a BrainPop video that you're going to watch on your own. Remember, the link is down below in the description box. Make sure you click the link so you can watch it on your own. And now let's learn about telling time to the half hour. Now, we know that the shorthand has the power to tell the hour. The longhand is in it to tell the minute. So the shorthand tells the hour and the longhand tells the minute. And we learned that whenever the longhand or the minute hand is on the number 12, we say o'clock, just like this. So we have an example just like over here. This is 3 o'clock, just like this clock shows 3 o'clock. But sometimes the longhand is not always on the 12 and it could be on the other numbers. Just like this example right over here. The longhand is on the number 6. Whenever the longhand or the minute hand is on the number 6, we say that it's 30 minutes or it's a half hour. So whenever the longhand is on the number 6, that means it's on 30 minutes, and it's a half hour because you're cutting it in half, just like this. The way we say that is we say half past the hour. So we read the hour, and then we say it's half past the hour. And in digital form, we put 2 dots, and we write the number 30 for 30 minutes. Now, whenever it's the half hour, just like this, the hour hand, the shorthand, is between 2 numbers. If you look at this one over here, the shorthand is between 2 numbers. And the 2 numbers it is between is 3 and 4. So it's between the number 3 and the number 4. Now, you need to think about which number the hour hand is on. Now, a trick to remember this is you need to think about what number did the hour hand just pass. So if the hour hand was here first, what number did it pass to get to the middle? That number is 3. So that means the hour is 3. And the long hand is on the number 6, so that means it's 30. So it's 3:30. For the word form, you would say it's half past 3. That's how you say it in word form. So it's 3:30 or half past 3. Now, another way to remember what this shorthand is in between and which number it's on is it's usually always the smaller number. So 3 is a smaller number. So 3 is the hour that it's on. Now, it's different for one of the reasons why we don't use that is because when you get to the number 12 and 1, whenever the shorthand is in between 12 and 1, that means the hour is 12, not 1. Because remember, the shorthand, it tells us what hour it is, and you have to know this by seeing what number it just passed to get to the middle. So just like this example, the number that it just passed to get to the middle of 3 and 4 is a number 3. So this tells us 3:30. Let's take a look at our first example. So this is our first example. Remember, the shorthand has the power to tell the hour. The longhand is in it to tell the minute. So the shorthand has the power to tell the hour. Now it's in between 2 numbers, 5 and 6. If this shorthand was over here first, because remember, our clock moves just like this. It moves like this. If the shorthand was over here and it now is in the middle, what number did it just pass to get to the middle? What number did it just pass to get to the middle? The number is 5. So the hour is 5. So in digital form, I'm going to write 5. So if the hour is 5, that's the number it just passed. Now let's take a look at the minute. The longhand tells the minute, and this minute hand is on the number 6. Remember, when the longhand is on the number 6, that means the minute is 30, not o'clock, because that's when it's on the 12. It is 30. Whenever the longhand is on the 6, it means 30. So when I write it in digital form, that means the time is 5. You got to put ... 30. So it's 5:30 in digital form. So it is 5:30. Now in word form, we would say it is 5:30. So you would spell out 5 and you would spell 30. So 5:30. And there's another way to write it in word form. So there's 2 ways to write it in word form. The first one is 5:30. The second one is half past 5. So these are the 2 ways to write it in word form, and this is digital form. Don't forget, you look at the shorthand, it's in between 2 numbers. You need to think, which number did this shorthand pass to get to the middle? And that number is 5. And whenever the longhand or the minute hand is on the number 6, we say 30 or half past, because remember, it's 30 minutes, and you're cutting it in half, the hour. So it's 5:30 or 5:30. Let's take a look at another example. We see the shorthand over here and the longhand over here. The shorthand has the power to tell the hour. So this shorthand is right in the middle of 8 and 9. Remember, you have to think about which number did it just pass to get to the middle. So if the clock moves just like this, going all the way around, what number did it pass to get to the middle? What number did it pass to get to the middle? That number is 8. So the hour is 8. And we see the longhand is in it to tell the minute. So that means this longhand is on the number 6. And remember, when we read it as minutes, we don't say it's 8:06. We say we need to count by 5. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So it's 8:30. So when we write that in digital form, we write 8:30. So it's 8:30. And we write it in word form. We need to write everything in words. So we have to spell out 8:30. Another word form of 8:30 is 8:30. Because remember, we're cutting it in half. So it's 8:30. So don't forget, when you look at the shorthand, what number did it just pass to get to the middle? You must think of it. And the longhand, whenever it's on the 6, we say 30. Because we're counting the minutes by 5. And we get 30. And it's half past the hour because you're cutting the clock in half. Let's look at our third example. This time we see a digital clock. We don't see the analog clock anymore. So when we read this clock, we say it is 2 because 2 is the hour. And this number is 30. So it's 2:30. So when we write it in word form, we write the number 2 in word and we write the number 30 in word. 2:30, just like this. Now, there's another way to write it in word form. Don't forget, there's 2 ways. The first way is 2:30. The second way that we say it is 2:30, because remember, whenever you see 30, you're cutting the clock in half. So it's 2:30. Half past the hour, and the hour is 2, so it's 2:30. So now that you saw all these examples, now it's your turn to practice in your packet. Remember, you can always look back to the video to be able to see how to tell time to the hour and how to tell time to the half hour. If you have any questions, don't forget, you can always watch the video again, or you can also call your teachers and ask them the questions as well. Good luck, and I'll see you in the next week's remote learning.